All right. All right. No filter MMA family. This is your boy BJ back with another video short. Well, no, not a video short. This is a live discussion. This is a live discussion. What an action packed, jam packed weekend of MMA fights that we had. Wow, a double hitter last night. Bellator 221, UFC 237. What a fucking night. I had that shit split screen all night. Split screen all night, guys. Just doing a little WMB with y'all. Think about it. WMB. Let's get started though, man. Wait for a few more of y'all to come in here. Y'all give me just 1 second. We're about to get this thing jumped off. Let me know who's in the comment section. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'll be back. Okay, y'all. Okay, I'm back. I want to talk. The first fight I want to talk about was the MVP versus Douglas Lima fight. Oh man, that was a good fight. For as long as it lasted, it was a good fight. For me, it was like, MVP. He's got that weird stance. He's got that Stephen Thompson-esque, Lyoto Machida like, fully sideways stance, legs far apart, karate stance, hands all the way down. So that's his style. I mean, that it is what it is. But man, Douglas Lima with the patience through the first round. Douglas Lima stayed very composed. He was trying to figure out what MVP was going to throw at him. He was trying to figure out what MVP was going to throw at him because MVP is so unconventional. He's so awkward. He's so weird with his movements. He's so weird with his, his strikes and the way that he delivers his strikes. What a weird type of fighter, man. But it was a great fight, though. The thing is, I think what lost this fight for MVP was the fact that MVP started showboating a little bit. He landed a couple of good shots in the second round on Douglas Lima, but he started kind of showboating a little bit, and he got caught. So that, to me, is what happened. He started throwing the wild punches that he throws, the wild combinations and kicks and shit that he throws, and he got a little bit too wild. He got a little bit too wild with it. And Douglas Lima caught him perfect. I believe it was a right hand. I have to go back and watch it again. I believe it was a right hand that caught him, and it just put him out. And it was like it was like perfectly on the chin. That's what was weird about the punch. It's like as soon as he threw it, it was like he knew exactly where MVP's head was going to be, and he landed that shot, and it just dropped Michael Venom Page, which brings an end to his undefeated record. So this was also the semifinal of the welterweight Grand Prix, this Grand Prix saga that's been going on with Bellator for the past few months. I like it. I'm enjoying it. It's producing some pretty good fights. I mean, maybe the UFC should adopt this tournament style things the way that they do it, the way Bellator does it. PFL just had the women's lightweight tournament. Kayla Harrison won her fight. Sarah Kaufman won her fight with a first round submission. Let's go, Sarah Kaufman. But yeah, guys, it's like I think the UFC should adopt that. Should do a tournament, man. I mean, they do the tournament. They do the Ultimate Fighter, but that's like a reality show. I want to see like a real tournament. Like when somebody vacates a belt, it should instantly be a tournament. Like TJ Dillashaw getting stripped of his belt, man. If the UFC incorporated a tournament style with Henry Cejudo being in the mix, Henry Cejudo could kind of be like the Ryan Bader of the tournament, because Ryan Bader was the light heavyweight champion and stepped up in Bellator in the heavyweight Grand Prix and won it and became Bellator's first champ. So, it'd be nice to see the UFC start to incorporate a tournament to vacated belts. Only for vacated belts, though. You know what I'm saying? Only for vacated belts. Should they do a title? Should they do a tournament? But it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. We can't change it. We can only talk about it. But yeah, man, Douglas Lima, the two-time Bellator champion, knocks out the undefeated prospect in Michael Venom Page. Michael Venom Page, that's the only drawback about showboating. Like, showboating can get you fucked up. Look at Johnny Walker when he after his last win, he starts showboating and he ended up injuring himself. So you got to be careful with the celebrations and the showboating, man, because you can get fucked up. But yeah. So what's next for Michael Venom Page, man? I don't know, man. I don't know what's next for him. He's only lost one fight, but now we get to really see what MVP is made of. Now that he has a loss, he's not that undefeated fighter anymore. He doesn't have the fact that he's undefeated. He doesn't have that anymore. He can't say that anymore. So let's see the real MVP. That's what I'm ready to see, the real fucking MVP. But let's move on over to the UFC card last night. The UFC card was 237 turned out to be a pretty good card. Now, I want to see the numbers for 237. Like, I want to see the numbers, because right before this card came on, I seen some news, MMA media news talking about how 236 bombed. Like less than 100,000 buys for 236. So not a lot of people. Wow. That's kind of hard to believe, though, man, because I couldn't imagine who wouldn't want to see two title fights on a card, on the same card, and who they were. You had Stylebender, and you had fucking Max Holloway, the fucking featherweight champion. Damn, dude, like, who wouldn't want to watch two title fights with those motherfuckers in them? So I'm just saying, I know I was front and center, ready for it. But yeah, guys, so let's move on into what was I at? Oh yeah, I wanted to see the pay-per-view information from this fight. This should be very interesting. But anyways, the first fight I want to talk about. Let me get this card pulled up so I can make sure I'm not messing up any of these names, because these names are pretty important. Let me see here. A couple of fights stood out to me on this card. It's hard to remember all those Brazilian names, though. Let's get it pulled up. Oh, guys, we have a new champion. Oof. Preliminary card. Okay, there we go. Okay, the first one was the Priscilla Cachoeira fight. See, okay, this is the thing about Priscilla Cachoeira. Now, I know a lot of people. Oh, no. I'm going to get to the Priscilla Cachoeira. Well, no, let's talk about. I was already talking about Priscilla, so let's go. Priscilla Cachoeira loses her third fight in the UFC, but guys, Priscilla Cachoeira puts on a fucking show. Let's just be real. Let's be honest. Y'all know I only try to spit it real over here, No Filter MMA. Y'all know I try to keep it real. I try to keep it 100. Guys, we just watched Priscilla Cachoeira lose her third fight in a row. But Priscilla Cachoeira is very entertaining. You know what I'm saying? She fought Luana Carolina, which was making her, she's a fellow Brazilian making her UFC debut, a very good Muay Thai fighter. Now, I noticed this about Luana Carolina. I noticed that, you know, she's a volume, it was like she was a volume striker, and then she turned, as the fight got harder, and Priscilla Cachoeira charged forward more, and Priscilla Cachoeira landed a few of those hard shots. Luana Carolina went from a volume striker to Priscilla Cachoeira and landing with her own power. Like, that was the fucking amazing thing that I noticed about that fight. As the fight got into the second round and the third round, Priscilla Cachoeira started, you know, in the second round, toward the end of the second round, Cachoeira started landing some harder shots, started connecting with some of those shots. And Luana Carolina started just strategically picking apart Priscilla Cachoeira and landed some power shots of her own. She threw a few head kicks in there that landed. One of them dropped Priscilla Cachoeira. So the Muay Thai fight, I mean, if the UFC gets Luana Carolina in there and she can showcase that Muay Thai skills, she's going to be a threat. And another thing that was pretty impressive was her clinch. Her Muay Thai clinch was very fucking impressive. She was grabbing the head of Priscilla Cachoeira, pulling the head down, pulling the neck down, and coming up the middle with, she was coming up the middle with the knees, and they were fucking landing. But this is just a testament to how tough Priscilla Cachoeira is, because Cachoeira took a lot of shots to the face. She took a lot of shots to the body. I mean, Cachoeira is a tough woman. But her fight, even though she's been losing these fights, but Cachoeira is so fucking entertaining to watch. She's a knockout artist. She swings for the fences. Not very much technique when it comes to Priscilla Cachoeira. I don't think Priscilla cares about the technique, you know. But it would be nice if Priscilla Cachoeira stays in the UFC. It would be nice to see Priscilla not throw every shot with power. To see Priscilla Cachoeira throw a jab. Was, you know, a quick jab, some leg kicks from Priscilla Cachoeira, some better movement. It was like as Luana was circling, instead of getting to that outside leg, Priscilla Cachoeira never got to the outside leg of Luana Carolina. She always was, you know, chasing her. She was always chasing Luana. If she would have cut the octagon off a little bit more, she would have landed some of those big shots. Because some of those big shots, it was like she was swinging where Luana Carolina was instead of where she's at. Like, the punches were accurate, but it was just too slow. You know, Luana Carolina was too fast. Her footwork was too good. She was circling out, and she was beating Priscilla Cachoeira in speed. So that was the thing, you know, that was with that fight. That was a good fight, though. Luana Carolina wins her UFC debut in Brazil. Very nice. I hope they keep Priscilla Cachoeira around. Her record's 8-3. She doesn't have a terrible record. She's lost 3 in a row. She was, you know, undefeated coming into the UFC, which is surprising because a good striker beats Priscilla Cachoeira. And Priscilla Cachoeira is a striker, but she's like a robot. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like a robot. She just throws these mechanical punches, and they're hard punches. They're hard punches. The punches are hard as fuck. Because when they land on these girls, these flyweights, when Priscilla Cachoeira lands, like, you see the effect. You see what it does to the opponent. You know, when Priscilla Cachoeira lands one of those shots. She landed one of those shots on Valentina. You know, right before Valentina opened up that can of whoop ass on Cachoeira. Cachoeira had landed that straight right. It was a 1-2, but she missed the 1 and landed the 2, and it was a right down the pipe. And she connected with Valentina, and it hit Valentina. But Valentina just, we know, everybody know, Valentina got that get right. Valentina ain't no joke. But yeah, that was a good fight. Good way to start off the night. Another one was Talita Bernardo versus Viviane Araujo. Viviane Araujo is a natural strawweight who took this fight on short notice and fought 20 pounds up at bantamweight. Now, she didn't quite make the bantamweight limit. I mean, she was way under the bantamweight limit. So Talita Bernardo was the much bigger fighter in this fight. This girl comes in here and knocks out Talita Bernardo in the third. This was a very she was very dominant in this fight. Now, Talita Bernardo started coming back in the she started coming back in the end of the second round, but I mean, she had already been peppered up by Viviane Araujo. But Araujo, when Talita Bernardo would land clean on Araujo, it would stun her. Like you could see that, Talita Bernardo was the bigger, stronger fighter. But Viviane Araujo, she knocks out Talita Bernardo, and that is an amazing. I wouldn't suggest for her to stay at 135. I would suggest her go down to 115, have the time. Her next fight, she'll have the time to get back down to 115. That's really what I want to see. But Talita, for Viviane Araujo, but Talita Bernardo, she got knocked out by a strawweight. Oh my gosh, that was crazy, man. That was a good fight. That was a good way to open up the card, the whole entire card. That was fucking perfect. We move up to the prelims, and let's see. Oh, Ryan Spann knocks out Nogueira. Ooh, that was fucking nasty. Round 1 knockout. Jesus. Thiago Moises beats Kurt Holloway. That was a good fight. Warley Alves knocks out Sergio Moraes in the third round. Yes, he did. I don't want to stay on those fights too much. I do want to talk about BJ Penn versus Clay Guida. Oh my God. Another loss for BJ Penn. Now, yeah, BJ Penn lost. He lost. He lost that fight. BJ Penn lost that. But BJ Penn looked better than he's looked in a long time. BJ Penn looked better than he looked in a very, very, very long time. His boxing looked real good. The only thing that I think was messing him up, man, is he was leaving his chin up, leaving his chin wide open for Clay Guida to hit him with that overhand right. Clay Guida was landing that overhand right like it was nothing. Clay Guida was swinging from the fences. One thing too, Clay Guida his movement was really, really good. And I think that was throwing BJ Penn off, when the fight first started. It took BJ a while to get that awkward movement, that timing down of Clay Guida, because Clay Guida was bouncing all over that fucking octagon. Like, he was all over the octagon. He was catching BJ with that leg kick. He was catching BJ with them wild punches. BJ was countering. That's what I like to see. That's what I was looking at. BJ Penn was countering a lot of Clay Guida shots with that straight right, but his jab was really good. His jab was really good, and he threw a couple of those, those looping hooks in there with the power in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, BJ Penn threw a couple of those, but Clay Guida was pressing him up against the cage, man. That's what was throwing him off, man. He was, Clay Guida was bodying up BJ Penn, and he was landing hard shots. But the thing about BJ Penn, we didn't see him get finished. I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see him win see him go to a decision. I believe that was an accomplishment for BJ Penn at this point in his career, was to go to a decision and not get knocked out, because Clay Guida was about to knock him out. Like, if this fight had been 5 rounds, Clay Guida probably would have knocked him out. Because it would have took very many more of those overhand rights of Clay Guida to knock BJ Penn out. But BJ Penn looked good. He looks better than we've seen him in a long time. I can say that. I can definitely say that. Move up to the main card. There was some good fights on the main card too. So Irene Aldana submits Betch Correa. Yes, that was a good fight. Betch Correa, man. Betch Correa put, before she got caught up in this armbar, you know what I'm saying? This was a good fight. I knew this fight would be good before I even saw it. Betch Correa came out there, guys, and Betch Correa was throwing. I mean, she missed weight. I know that sucks, man. That Betch missed weight, but Betch Correa came out, man, and she was Irene Aldana with the jab, with the strike, and keeping the distance, keeping Betch away from her. That was a smart game plan. But Betch was finding a way around those strikes. She was getting in. Betch was laying. She was throwing power shots. She was throwing jabs. She was throwing kicks. That's the best I've seen Betch Correa. Look, Betch Correa actually looked like she was out there having fun last night. You know what I'm saying? Like Betch Correa looked like she was having fun. You know what I'm saying? That's the Betch Correa I like to see, but she did get caught with that submission. Irene Aldana with the slick armbar. And it's like Betch Betch's submission defense is pretty good, and Betch was rolling out of a lot of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like Betch was getting out of it. Man, Irene Aldana was just one step ahead of Betch in that transition, and she bellied down that armbar. You know what I'm saying? And when she came down, man, woo, when she came down and all her weight hit that arm, but Betch, they said Betch was already tapping, which I think she probably was already tapping, but man, when that weight came down on that arm, Betch got up out of there, boy. She's like, no. Betch Correa was like, no, 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 no. So good win for Irene Aldana. I think Irene Aldana just beat she beat was it Lucy Pudilova? I think it was Lucy Pudilova. Yeah, she beat Lucy Pudilova, and that was a good fight. Lucy Pudilova can fight, man. I'm telling you, Lucy Pudilova can fight. Jose Aldo versus Alexander Volkanovski. Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys, if I don't get to every fight. I don't have much time today. I'm trying to do this live chat real quick, cover these fights.